Hello.
Good morning.
Is the chief in by chance, or a lieutenant that I can speak to?
About?
Well, I mean, I've had my rights violated several times by this department. I've attempted to report it multiple times, and it seems like nothing's being done. Why is that?
I don't know.
Are you guys aware that within our statutes, 9A.80.010, paragraph 3, it is against the law.
So, yeah.
Let me see if someone's available.
Am I speaking?
Let me see if someone's available for you.
Thank you. But I wasn't done explaining, so. It is against the law for one parent to willingly keep a minor child from the other parent with intent to deprive access for a protracted period without any court order giving them permission to do so. So I would like to know why it is that officers, multiple in fact, ranging from standard everyday field officers to lieutenants, have willfully refused to enforce the law even when given probable cause to make an arrest. I would also like to know why they haven't decided to arrest Kyle Hartman yet for his clear cyber harassment and cyber stalking, even when they know I've asked him and told him multiple times to leave me alone.
Okay. Obviously, we don't know the answer to those questions, but we'll see.
Your guys' officers are the ones saying that they're not going to make the arrests.
He's hiding someone to come out and talk to you. If you'll have a seat.
Not yet. I'm still waiting on somebody. Well, yeah, I'm trying to figure out why your guys' officers feel the need to continuously violate my rights.
I just in records, I would not have any way in knowing that. Are you wanting to speak with a supervisor?
Preferably the chief or a lieutenant other than Lieutenant Green, because Lieutenant Green is one of the lieutenants that knows what's going on and refuses to do a thing, which is, forgive me if I'm wrong, considered official misconduct when an officer willfully refuses to enforce the law. It's a gross misdemeanor of an officer, and yet nobody's doing anything about that. Why is that?
Well, again, I don't know. I'm not an officer, so.
You work for the police department. You work in records.
I work in the records department.
So you are a public official.
I am, yes.
So you have a duty to answer or figure out the answer.
I have a duty to get somebody to come here.
Correct.
What's your name?
Dylan Coates. Mm-hmm.
You want to talk in here?
Yeah, sure.
How are you today, sir?
Doing okay. How about yourself?
Good. I'm just shutting that door for privacy. You're free to.
Are you a sergeant by chance,
I'm
Lieutenant?
not a sergeant.
Are you a lieutenant?
No, I'm just an officer here.
Well, I asked to speak with either a lieutenant or the chief.
Okay. Well, they're not available right now. Is there
So
anything
when
that I
is
can help you
there
with?
going to be one available?
I don't know. I can leave a message for him.
So I specifically asked to talk with either the chief or lieutenant because it comes to reporting other field officers, something you cannot do if you're just a standard level officer yourself. Has to go through the higher ups. I'm not going to talk with Sergeant Martinez because he's already been in violation of multiple of my rights as well.
Okay.
And he darn well knows it because he admits to it over the phone.
Do you want to speak to a sergeant?
I would prefer to speak to a lieutenant or the chief,
Okay.
and any lieutenant besides Lieutenant Green, because Lieutenant Green is one of the ones who have been violating my rights. He's also in charge of all you guys as field officers, which I'm well aware of that fact. And considering the fact that he's violated my rights multiple times, I obviously can't trust him, and we all know rot spreads from the top down.
Okay.
So
Well, I have to go through chain of command. I can have my sergeant come talk to you, and then he can make the call as to whether or not he has a lieutenant.
That's
or
what you
chief
need to
that
do.
can
Do
talk
it.
to you. Okay.
But either way, I need to speak to a lieutenant or the chief.
Okay. I don't know how long it'll take him to get
I know
here,
they're
but
in.
I
I know at least one lieutenant is here right now.
don't know that we have a lieutenant in here right now. So,
You guys have
Okay.
3 lieutenants, and usually you have 1 on duty all day.
okay. Let me go get a hold of my sergeant, and then he's the one that can make that communication to whoever else we have on duty. Okay? That's
That's
just
what
how
you
chain
need
of
to do.
command works, man. So, I have to talk to him. He'll decide if he wants to have somebody else come out and talk to you.
If that's what you need to do.
Okay. Is there anything specific you're looking to talk about?
Why my rights are being violated.
Okay.
Why you guys willfully refuse to enforce the law, a gross misdemeanor of an officer under 9A.80.010, I believe, which makes it a gross misdemeanor for you guys to willfully refuse to enforce law when imposed. Let's see, RCW 9A.80.010, paragraph 3 makes it against the law, a Class C felony in fact, for one parent to keep a minor child from the other parent with intent to deprive access for a protracted period. Question is, why is it my ex, Jennifer Hartman, kept my son from me for months between February 2022 and January of 2024 without any form of order giving her the authority to do so? After all, it's a Class C felony.
Okay.
Anytime she called me over to say, hey, if you want to talk about our son, come over, I'd go over. All of a sudden, officers there within 2 minutes because apparently she called claiming DV.
Okay.
How
Do
can
you guys
DV
have-
occur if I just went down there because she told me to come down to talk about our son, and the moment I arrive, officers are there because she's claiming DV? How could DV have occurred?
I don't know. Do you guys
That
have
sounds
a-
like
do
it's
you
an
guys have a
abusive
parent-
process and false accusations, does it
Mr.
not?
Coates, do you
No,
guys-
focus on what I'm reporting.
Okay.
That sounds like false accusations and malicious
I'm just
abuse of the
trying to
system, does it not?
understand- I'm just trying to understand your system.
Does it
because I haven't
matter?
talked to you before.
Does right now having a parenting plan matter for her violations of law that I've been reporting that you guys refuse to do anything about?
Well, the parent
What gives
plan
her a
matters
right
in the
to?
sense of the child, right?
But the law makes it clear it's a Class C felony if there's no parenting plan and she still does it, correct?
I don't think so. It doesn't make it clear.
Really?
So
Let's go ahead and pull that up right here, shall we? Go ahead and take a look at paragraph 3. Read it right there.
I'm aware of what the law is on it.
So let's see, paragraph 3. A parent or other person acting on the directions of the parent is guilty of custodial interference in the first degree if the parent or other person intentionally takes, entices, retains, or conceals the child under the age of 18 and for whom no lawful custody order or order making residential provisions for the child has been entered by a court of competent jurisdiction.
Okay.
And
so is
from
there-
the other
is there a
parent-
parenting plan or no?
Was there at the time that this was ongoing?
Do you have a parenting plan now or no? Because that's how
Currently?
that would.
Currently, yes, but does that matter for this? She gets away with violating a law for 2 years, a felony for 2 years, and that still excuses it?
Well, I've only.
Is
been
ignorance
here-
an excuse for the law?
I've only been here since July.
Does
So-
that matter?
So I
Does
don't
that
know
matter?
anything about what you're.
So I
reporting.
specifically
can only go
asked
off
for a
of it.
lieutenant or a chief because of this reason.
Okay.
All you're doing is causing an escalation because
I'm
all
not
you're
trying to
doing is
cause an
adding.
escalation.
All
I'm
you're
trying-
doing is adding to the problem
Mr. Coates.
by coming out here and speaking to me when I've already clearly indicated that I need either the chief or a lieutenant. You are not a high level for what I need done.
Okay.
Done.
Mr. Coates, I was just trying to get some information from you so I could pass it on to my supervisor. Okay.
I am aware,
all I'm
and they're
trying to
already aware that now, as of January last year, there is a parenting plan.
Okay. Well, give me a few minutes. I'll make a call. I'll see what my Sarge has to say, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
What about Kyle Hartman? Why is it he gets away with cyber harassment, cyber stalking, after I've already indicated to him multiple times I want him to leave me alone? I've told him no contact. I've made it clear I've had orders against him in the past, which he willfully violated, by the way. and admitted to willfully violating. Why is it he was never arrested? Even though I've given you guys more than enough probable cause on that.
I don't know that because I wasn't involved in it.
So who's taking the report right now on Officer Shaddy, Sergeant Martinez, Sergeant Von Dyke, all of them for telling me it's not a crime when my ex kidnaps my son and this man commits cyber harassment and cyber stalking, violations of a court order, etc.? It's kind of funny how it's not a crime when they do it, right?
Well, I'm here.
Nobody makes a
I'm
willful
here to
arrest
try
with
and
probable
assist
cause.
today.
You have to wait for the
If you
prosecutor.
want to speak to somebody that is higher than me, I have to go through my chain of command and go talk to my sergeant. Okay?
You could have done
I
that
am
from the
happy
very
to
get-go.
do that. Yes, I could have, but I was just trying to understand what the concern was, right? Because it's hard for me to call somebody and say, "Hey,
Did I not
have
just
somebody-"
sit there and tell you that it's above you and that you wouldn't be able to do anything?
Yeah, but I have to be able to articulate some sort of means to my sergeant when I call him.
Really?
Okay.
Really? Now
So-
you guys are doing the articulation thing. Okay, finally.
Okay.
Let's see how well your sergeants can articulate
Give
then.
me a few minutes, okay? Can you be patient for me?
I can be patient.
Do you want to wait in here? Do you want to wait out?
I'll
back?
wait out there.
Okay. Thank you.
And I know my tone and all that doesn't appear calm and all that. I know I appear aggressive. That's unfortunately due to my disability. But keep in mind, I'm more calm than you guys think.
Well, hang tight and I'll get a hold of somebody.
Have a good day. I think I'm here for you. Does anybody have like a dollar bill or any cash on them? That's from just an example. This is great. Yeah, I'll give it back to you. So you can really feel the difference. Like this is just very paper, well, this is a little bit more. And you can clearly tell like it's just printed. Whereas this one is just more engraved a little bit. I mean, no, I just ordered the machine to scan it. And then when it like wrinkles, it should like discolor the like right here, the creases here. It should discolor the bill a little bit, whereas this one is not. Okay.
You guys have a marker?
I'm sorry, what?
You have a marker?
Yeah, the marker is not indicating that it's fake.
That's why we have only that option, is market.
And Mr. Coates, Sarge's in right now, he's a little tied up. Here's his phone number and his extension. Feel free to give that a call, leave a message, and he'll get back to you.
Okay.
Okay?
So in the meantime, how do we go about making sure my report gets taken care of properly? Because I've attempted to make several reports over the past couple of years,
Okay.
and nothing's been done.
Okay. Well, I'd say start off with that phone call, because any type of internal report would have to go through.
You know I've talked to Sergeant Thompson before, right?
I believe so. I believe you probably talked to most of the officers here.
So none of you guys have seemed to gotten the point yet and still willfully refuse to enforce law? And instead you guys still choose to violate my rights?
I don't know how I'm violating your rights right now.
Well, let's see. This department, which you work for, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but because you work for this department, that makes you just as much as at fault by reasonable, or by means of means of acquaintance, or however it's pronounced.
It's not really how that works.
Really? Because you guys always charge other people for being in on crimes. And considering I've spoke with a lot of officers and they've all refused to do anything, it clearly means that multiple officers are in on it, doesn't it?
I don't know what to tell you on that. 'Cause
Why
I
would
haven't
Sergeant
had a chance
Martinez
to
laugh
speak
at
to
me
you.
the day I got arrested? Why would Shaddy sit there and make an arrest claiming he has probable cause for me, but yet when I give him more than probable cause for the other party doing the exact same thing to me, he sits there and says it's not a crime? Are you aware that under color of law or using the color of law like that is a federal offense, much like what's going on over here with the whole clear,
So why don't
counterfeiting thing?
Why don't you report it federally then?
Well, considering the fact that I have, unfortunately, they still have to go through you guys. And unfortunately, you guys are refusing to document anything properly. So you tell me.
Well, give the sergeant a call, leave your voicemail, and call back.
And what's that doing about my reports?
Right now, your report is a complaint against the office. So that has to go through.
Right now, my report is I'm here to figure out what is being done about the custodial interference case, what is being done about the cyber harassment, cyber stalking, and violation of a protection order case.
I don't have any information for you on that. Okay, that's why you need to call.
Hey, Pash,
my
you know.
supervisor.
So here's a question. You know a little bit more on this than he does. Why is it that no officer is going to enforce the custodial interference statute, a Class C felony in Washington State?
We are told by the judge when to make that arrest. I've only made that arrest one time, and that's because the judge told me to do that.
Yeah, I know. You were part in that case with the 2 women who got arrested for custodial interference, weren't you?
No, that wasn't me. I don't
No,
recall.
because that was the most recent custodial interference case here out of Skagit.
Mine was like
It doesn't actually
year 2
happen
or
that
year
often
3. Yeah.
here.
No, like I said, I've only done it once.
So I've given you guys probable cause of it going on for 2 years, which is a protracted period, if I'm not mistaken, a undetermined period of time, a prolonged period. Paragraph 3 of 9A.80.010 clearly makes it a felony for one parent to keep a minor child without a lawful court order, giving them the right to do so, from the other parent for a protracted period, correct?
What is the update now? Like, what's the change now with your?
According to you guys, the prosecutor won't do a thing because apparently, according to him, it's not a crime because there's currently a parenting plan. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but ignorance is no excuse for the law, and how does a parenting plan now excuse her from committing a felony for the past 2 years?
I guess I don't know what I haven't talked to you since you've had that parenting plan, so I don't know what things look like for you
Well,
now.
I had the parenting plan for a year. Did I not come in back in March of last year and try to show you guys a voice recording from Commissioner Crandall where she very clearly clarifies that the current restraining order does not prohibit contact, does not prohibit communication, doesn't prevent us from coming around each other in person. It just stops me from going to her house. That's all it does. That's the only thing it does, because she made claims that I'm apparently aggressive at her house. I proved, on the other hand, that she twists my wording in attempts to make me look monstrous just to keep my son from me as a form of malicious prosecution and abuse of the system. I've already proved I'm not a threat. I've already proved I'm not a danger. I already proved the fact that my autism causes me to communicate in ways that most people don't like. That is typically socially unacceptable. That's why it's called a disability. I can't control that. So why is it she gets away with a Class C felony for 2 years? No one here does anything, and now the prosecutor's also claiming he doesn't want to do anything now just because of a parenting plan, when that's no excuse for the past 2 years. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but 9A.80.010 makes it official misconduct a gross misdemeanor for any official, public official, that includes your prosecutor, to willfully refuse to enforce the law. So why do you have a prosecutor willfully refusing to enforce the law? Why is this department willfully refusing to enforce the law? And why is it with Kyle Hartman, this man who I've told multiple times, leave me alone, I do not want contact, stay out of my life. You guys all know about it. I know this whole department knows it because I report it all the time, especially for the last 2, almost 3 years, haven't I? Mm-hmm. So why is it this man continuously gets away with cyber harassment and cyber stalking? I had a protective order against him. You guys are aware of that. Nobody did a thing. And yet this department recently, as of Officer Shaddy, decides to violate my 14th and 4th and First Amendment rights by attempting to arrest me for cyber harassment. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but 2B5, the felony that you guys are trying to charge me with under cyber harassment, the verbiage is clear. There must be a protective order. A restraining order is not a protection order. I had a protection order against Mr. Hartman, didn't I? 22-201-8029. That's an actual protection order. He violated it multiple times. I've got the proof right here. In fact, still on my phone. I've reported this proof to you guys multiple times. Oh, and don't worry, it's still recording everything I say and everything I show you guys, so my phone's still catching everything even though I'm going through and pulling up these photos for you guys. Yeah, right here, look at this. September 26, 2022, I got my order against him August 30th, right? So here's the stay. You can see I posted this picture. Just generalizing it, right? September 26, in response. Notice the time difference, 6 hours to all of a sudden 4 hours. Indirect response, clear indirect response. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but protection orders prohibit another party from stalking.
I'm sorry, is this already something you already documented?
I've already shared this evidence with you guys, so why has nothing been done?
I don't know.
That's probable cause right there. Look at this. Family is so important to her. If there was a reason she left, you weren't family and not her fault. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but didn't this same department arrest me for using the word you, claiming third party when it came to Kira?
I'm not familiar with the cases.
Oh, you're
that
familiar
mentioned.
with Kira, though.
I know Kira,
You're
yes.
familiar well
I'm not
aware
familiar
of what
with
happened. So you're well aware that I was arrested for third party because I used the word you and her.
I wasn't aware of that. No,
You were aware of that.
I wasn't.
I explained it to you multiple times. You can't claim ignorance now, especially when it was explained to you in the past. Because I told you about it the day I asked you to file a restraint or file charges against Kira for her false abusive system and false reporting, didn't I? Which you still failed to do, didn't you? And instead you came to serve me with a anti-harassment order, didn't you?
Yeah, that was years ago.
Yeah, you think I forgot about it? I still remember perfectly clear, word for word, what was said. I still even have a copy of you on my Ring doorbell cam, showing up to my camera with a fucking order in hand, lying to me, telling me it's not an order when I can see it clear as day. Sorry, ignorance is no excuse for the law, and yeah, your job may give you permission to lie in certain time frames, but you can't lie when it's clear as fucking day and you've been called out on it. Because the moment I have you on video with proof and you try to lie to that, imagine lying to a judge in court. What's that going to do to you? So why is it that he can commit cyber stalking, cyber harassment, third-party harassment?
So, Mr. Coates, I know a big part of this is what's happened historically at this point. Right.
Ignorance is no excuse for the law, is it?
But hear me out. So I provided you the information to our sergeant to call him and go up the chain of command. Sounds like maybe you've spoken
So
with Lieutenant Green.
what is being done then? I want to know what is being done.
That's not our that's not
Obviously,
on
if your
patrol's
guys'
level.
higher-ups aren't wanting to do anything, I have to talk with anybody I can.
As patrol-
And the more I push,
As
the
patrol,
more
we don't
something's
have-
likely going to
we
get
don't
done,
have-
right?
we don't have
No, but if
the-
I push the patrol officers, their sergeants will eventually be forced to do something, right?
Well, that's why I provided you that number from our sergeant. He's tied up right now.
I'm sorry,
He can't-
but-
he can't come here right now.
So there's no sergeant, no lieutenant, not even the chief?
The sergeant's on.
You guys don't
he's
have
just tied up- he's
captains?
tied
You guys
up
don't
on
have
the street.
corporals? None of that?
So
Oh
you
yeah,
can
you guys are a
call-
little small town
Leave him a
office.
message, right? if you're concerned about the way that the department is handling things, there's other avenues you can go through. You
Well,
can report it federally,
I'm just
you can
curious.
report it to-
I'm just curious. Do you guys
The Attorney
remember what it
General's
was that
office.
you took the day you decided to put that badge on? A certain oath, right? To protect the people, serve and protect the people, protect
Dylan,
our
earpiece-
constitutional
our
rights.
earpieces are going. What can we do right now for you? 'Cause the
Why
sergeant knows you're
are
here.
my constitutional rights being violated by your higher-ups?
We don't have
Why
to
is
do that.
nothing being
We're not
done?
involved in those conversations.
You have been. You haven't. But you have been. You've been part of these reports. You've been part of these
I've been part of the
cases.
start of it, but after that, I
I've
have
made
no
several
connections.
reports to you.
Yeah, and I followed through with them. I've conversed with you.
So,
I've taken your time.
okay, so let me put it to you this way. Do you guys know flagging people in your system? Those little flags you put in for dispatch
We've
saying
talked about this
concealed
before,
permits
right?
and
Yeah.
two-person detail. You guys do realize that, let's see, when you guys go through illegal means to place those flags, it puts your guys' department at risk for a federal lawsuit?
If that's the route you want to go.
So
then-
you are aware of the fact that there was a time where I was
Mr. Coates,
unlawfully
so it sounds
pulled
as though
over.
It sounds as though you know.
I was
the
unlawfully pulled
course
over,
of
and you guys
both
have
the
me
civil
flagged
action
for
and criminal action.
scanner, and you guys want to claim it's for officer
Coates,
safety.
listen.
So I had a scanner
We can't
because
do-
I saw you guys
can't
doing
do-
something, and I was curious.
Mr.
I was
Coates.
being nosy. So how's that officer safety
Hear
if
me
I'm
out.
wondering what's
Hear
going
me
on
out
in the
for a second.
community?
Hear me out for a second.
What about my safety,
Hear me out.
officer?
As patrol, we can't handle these situations. If you're concerned about the way that the department's handling things, it sounds like you're already well aware of the avenues you
It
can-
sounds like
can
you just
discuss.
want me to get out of
Okay.
here because you guys are willfully
Well, we have
refusing
other
to
things
enforce
that we
the
have to
actual
go do
law.
right now, okay? We
So
have
get
other
me
things we have
somebody
to go
here
do.
who can answer these questions for me,
Make the
as
phone-
you have a duty
make
to
the
do.
phone call that we've
I don't
provided.
have to make a phone call. I'm here in
Then
person.
don't make the phone call, but there's nothing we can do right now for you. So if you want to make the phone call, that's up to you. Okay?
So let me
But
ask
make
you
the phone
something.
call, leave the message. The sarge will get a hold
Pick
of
up
you.
the phone and say you want to speak to Sergeant Thompson. Okay.
They
It will
dispatch
it
will
go to
not
us.
dispatch will not put me through to a sergeant. They'll put me through to the only officers who are available,
You can
including
absolutely-
the current lead
You can't-
officer.
I'm not. There's no lead officer today. I'm not in that.
Who
role
is the
today.
sergeant on duty today?
Sergeant Thompson. He's the one on duty. He was on a
Who's the
call.
lieutenant on duty today?
Lieutenant's in training today, so he's not on today.
What about the chief?
Chief is on leave.
Chief
For
should have been
personal-
in today.
He's on leave. So,
So let me ask you guys something, just opinion-wise, before I let you go here. Probably 3 weeks ago, the brand new chief, Donovan is his name, or what's his name? Chief what?
no, Peter Donovan is the mayor.
Okay, well,
Chrisman is the chief.
Chrisman and the mayor were both standing right here, in fact, just behind where you were. In fact, Cohen was standing right behind them.
Okay.
They said they wanted to reduce the amount of crimes going on in here, in this town, right? So, in your guys' professional opinions as law enforcement officers sworn to the Constitution, is it is it really taking criminals off the streets if you guys and the prosecutor are willfully refusing to enforce laws when reported, even when you have more than enough probable cause, and then instead choose to violate citizens' rights instead when you lack probable cause?
Dylan, that's your opinion.
Well, let's see.
Case by case.
Let's see. Because I was charged with cyber harassment under
involved with
2B5, which verbiage is clear. It requires a protection order. Last I checked, there's no protection order. Commissioner
Officers
Crandall
who
made
have
that perfectly
no idea
clear.
what the case is about.
I'm asking for your opinion on the hypocrisy.
If there's probable
Because-
cause, then we will arrest Dylan.
So what probable cause did Shaddy have for my
I
arrest?
don't know. That's the thing. You're talking to the wrong officers. We are not involved in this case.
Well, it's this department, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but my Sixth Amendment allows me to question and confront my accusers. And this department is accusing me of violating cyber harassment under Section
It's the
2B5.
state that accuses.
No,
the
the
department. So
The PD makes the arrest, the PD sends the charges off to the prosecutor, and then the prosecutor decides whether to charge. So in other words, because you guys arrested and charged me, you guys are my accusers because you guys are the ones that supposedly have the probable cause and are making the claims of cyber harassment. So under 2B5 of the cyber harassment statute, which makes the verbiage clear, it requires a protection order.
Dylan,
What
we can
statute
stand-
did I
we can
violate in
stand
that
here all
case?
day and go in
And as for
circles with this.
4 counts of violation of a no contact order, what no contact order is there currently?
We can go in circles with this all day, but we don't have the answer.
So is anybody going to take a report on Officer Shaddy finally?
You'll have to contact the supervisor on that.
Patrol doesn't do that.
I've already asked Thompson what's he done so far. He hasn't done anything.
Give him a call again. That's all you can do right now.
We're not going to do this disrespectfully, but we do need to go. We're
I
in
think you're
circles,
only
okay?
just trying to dodge the questions because I'm out here in public and confronting you guys with facts, and you guys don't want to do anything because you know it makes you look bad. And Pash, you already know you're looking bad because I can already see that guilty look on your face.
I just wish I could help you, Dylan. That's all.
So help me, make the arrests. Go make the arrests.
File the report.
I already have. Go make the arrests. See what I mean? Willful refusal. Hey, ladies, you know that's a gross misdemeanor right there, right? Willful refusal to enforce the law when imposed by any public official is a gross misdemeanor under 9A.80.010. You guys might want to start looking into it. So you guys can see, Harvey decided to give me his card with Sergeant Thompson's number on it. Yeah. Some help they are, right? They don't really know how to enforce the law properly.